Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Pocket Change. The hurricane got me messed up, so last week's episode for Friday didn't happen. That'll go out Tuesday, and then we'll have this one on this Friday, I think. So hopefully we'll get back on track and no more big winds come in to blow me away.
And what has been a doozy here lately with hurricanes and the weather, and ladies and gentlemen and everyone. If you live on the East Coast, at least south of Virginia or Virginia South, it has been a wild season for us in this area with hurricanes. First, we got hit with Helene, which came right up through Florida, just as many of you already know, just west of Ben's where he's at, drove straight into my home state, like as hard as core as it could go.
Yeah,
And then just this past, and that was just a few weeks ago. And before we even really got over that one, we had one mysteriously spawn in the Gulf of Mexico and curl its way and try to nail Ben's right between the
it
eyes.
did. It came in real close, right below me, just a little bit.
So,
But I had horrible winds, lost power. Been here 3 years, seen a lot of hurricanes. First one I lost power on, and that sucks, man. You lose power. We had power out for 2 days, and you know what? I'm still happy. It's Sunday. I got my power back Saturday morning, and that's not bad. So we were out Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then half a day Saturday. There are people that are going to be out in my county until next Thursday. That's the plan.
well, there are, not that we're comparing notes, ladies and gentlemen, there's power out in Florida. There's power continuous, and some of them, has been said, till next Thursday. We're getting reports, some projected to be out for the next up to 30 days
Wow.
in Florida. North Carolina and upstate South Carolina, there are people still out of power now, and it's getting ready to turn over, head towards the 30-day mark. It is wild. If you get a chance to visit the areas, the mountain area of North Carolina after it's over, you should, because the landscape's totally changed.
Yeah, that's nuts. And here we had a lot of flooding. My last group of people that I worked with, we all were texting. So I've been texting 30 people on it, which I hate getting on a text stream like that. At first I was like, damn it, why did they put me on this? But then it was nice to hear back and forth, and everybody was worried, and then the thing hit, and then we didn't hear anything for a while. And a bunch of people, those people are still out of power. Somebody got a roof ripped off, their porch ripped off. One guy lost his whole front
Yeah.
porch, his front door. So I'm blessed. I didn't have anything structural happen to me. I haven't been up on the roof to check yet, but I'm pretty sure we're good.
It can be interesting, but we're glad to be here with you, ladies and gentlemen. Everyone else, we are, it caught me on a down day. I was not, I didn't know if we were going to be able to do this or not. I'm usually dressed a little bit better, but I'm just in one of my old Harley t-shirts here in front of you. I'm not all nice. Benz is
All I did
here
was
with
put on a
us.
shirt. I didn't even fix my hair.
And
So it's fun.
but we're going to try to have a great show for you. We're going to try something a little different. We're going to keep the format similar, but we're going to try actually writing our format out this time and trying to follow it
Yes.
and keep it so that you guys are not so like, where in the world these guys are bipolar
Oh,
or
yeah.
ADHD or whatever.
Trying not to go off on a tangent as much as we can.
Yeah, because what that does, and ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, you guys don't get to see it like we do and Ben's does. But a lot of what we go off on tangents, a lot of times what you're getting to see is just a small portion because a lot of it gets edited out.
Yes.
If we ever do get famous, we will offer some of it, and like I said, some of it
But
for
we'll
you
never
for
offer. Otherwise, if we
for
did
your.
get famous, we wouldn't be famous anymore because sometimes we say off color things, you know. But we'll
Well,
do
and
it.
I think everybody does, from all actors and actresses and
Oh,
all the
yeah.
way through all kinds of entertainment. Eventually, we may release those, but
Yeah, I leave stone stuff in. I probably should take out at this point. But you know what? It's a lot of fun. And by the time
it
I'm
is.
editing, I'm tired. And I was going to edit last week, and then everything showed up, and I just didn't even edit the program. And then I was like, oh, I went out and bought a generator because I thought, oh, if I get a generator, I can get the internet back, and I at least get a few things going. I can ship my orders because Wednesday I lost power, and I couldn't even log in to put my store on vacation mode. And I ended up selling a bunch of stuff, which I'm not complaining about, but I sold it, and then I ended up not being able to print labels for 3 days. And then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, the post office was supposed to reopen. I went to the post office. The doors were open, and they took my packages that I had processed on Tuesday into Wednesday, but they didn't scan them. because their computers were down. And they're like, yeah, we'll take care of it. And I had at the same time took 11 more boxes. You can buy the postage on your phone and get a little code and then scan it on the one machine and it'll print the label. So I was planning on doing that, but that machine was down. But when I went back on Saturday, after my power came up at 4 in the morning, and I was like, oh, it woke me up because apparently if you turn everything on because you don't think it's working, when it comes on, the house is loud and bright all of a sudden, just like stuff running. It was wild. So I got up and went ahead and packed my packages and got out of here by 9 o'clock. Went to the post office. They were still closed, but the machine where you can scan stuff out was working. So I scanned my packages out. Now I wish I would have kept those other packages I dropped on Friday because they haven't scanned yet. If I would have kept them, I could have on Saturday at least scanned them into their system. And one of those was for some zebra labels that I had sold. I sent the guy a note right away. I said, hey, it's down. I won't be able to get them in the mail till Friday. And he said, no problem. I'm not going to cancel because my customer wants them no matter when you ship them. He sent me a note today. He's, hey, my customer's waiting on this. When are you going to ship it? I'm like, I handed it off on Friday. I said, but it's at the post office. They didn't have any power. And this is the holiday weekend, so I wouldn't expect, if they haven't scanned it today, to even start moving until Tuesday. He said, what am I going to tell my customer? I said, am I shipping it to you or to your customer? He said, no, you're shipping it direct to my customer. I said, that's against the policy on eBay to use this as a drop shipper. And then he got really hostile with me. He said, I'm going to go ahead and cancel. I said, I already put it in the mail. You can't cancel it. You can return it when you get it, but you're not going to get it because it's going to your customer. So we'll see how that turns out. I think that might be my first comment from this guy. Everybody else,
Oh,
as soon as I got an
I
order, I
would be
realized they had the
all.
order. I drove out. I sent him a note, said, hey, I got affected by the hurricane. I'm getting it to you as soon as possible. If it's on, and I said this to him, if you don't want it, go ahead and cancel it, and I'm cool with that. And then he said, no. But everybody's been real nice. So get it when you can, except for that one guy.
all I would be all over that with eBay customer service reporting because you got him on messengers
Yeah,
on
I
the
got him
eBay
saying it's
messenger.
going to his customer directly.
Yeah,
No,
yeah, I
I
would be
asked that
all over
question
that.
because I knew that if I got it on there, if he leaves me bad feedback, I'm like, look, this guy's a drop shipper. That's against the rules. So I can't help
Yeah,
that I had a hurricane.
and that is something, ladies and gentlemen. There's the thing: forcing a seller into being a drop shipper, it's against the policies.
And
It's not illegal because it's not a law
yeah,
in the United States or any state or county ordinance or anything, but it is against the policies of eBay. And here's the thing: if he leaves Ben's bad feedback on that and Ben's reports it, he runs the risk of getting banned from eBay
yeah,
because they're pretty serious. That's one of those regulations that's not in the gray area. It's not something you play with. It can be a banned offense, and it's going to be up to the customer. And the thing about eBay that I've learned is eBay doesn't have a central or doesn't seem to have a centralized customer service center. I think they employ like I want to say like it's remote work throughout.
yeah,
I don't know. It seems that way. And if one of these remote customer service agents, if they get a hold of it and it's one of those things that's really a pet peeve of theirs that Ben's sends to them, they're going to ban him on the spot.
yeah.
Now, some of them, from what I've heard and read, they may give him a warning and tell him if it happens again. Some of them will just straight for that offense because that's the top tier, one of the top tier offenses. And you can do not do that.
Before I get into the rest of my week, tell me about yours. We're getting off tangents again.
That's one of those things I wanted to share. You and I have some tangents here, but they're information. That's an information for everybody
Yeah,
who's wanting to be a reseller.
yeah,
Do not, if you want to be a reseller and you're buying on eBay, which Benz and I have said time and time again, don't buy on eBay to sell on eBay. A
right.
lot of people make that mistake. They want to buy on eBay to sell on eBay. And what a lot of people do is they'll do it a couple times and it'll work great. And then they'll buy and they'll go ahead and sell before they've received the item because they say, why not cut out that? The problem is that's in the regulations. It's
Yeah,
a no. You can lose your whole account. It doesn't matter if it's a four account, four feedback account, or 4,000 or 400,000 account. You can lose your whole account that way. I guess that might be some of the things we've learned. But anyway, we've written down some categories here that can be interchangeable. But talking about week, so let's just talk about performance for the week. Oh, I was trying to use my mouse and it's not working right now. My performance of the week, I cannot. This is awesome. I'm going to go over it a little bit. But this past week, I did $158.77.
Starting to grow.
That is up 90.3% versus the same prior time period last year, which you expect that because last year was my first year in the business and I'd only been in a couple months. So it's definitely going to be up
Yeah.
high like that. But you got to understand, up until about a month ago, I was doing about $50, $60 a month. And now I'm doing almost 150, 200 bucks a week. This is awesome. My average sell though is down from the same period last year. Apparently, I had one good sell maybe last year at this time. I don't remember what it was because I'm down 46.6%. I think I sold a painting this time
Probably.
last year and sold it for quite a bit. But let's see, being up 90.3%, hitting 158.77 in the last week, that is awesome. That's really good. My quantity sold, yeah, is up 200%. So I probably sold like two good items last year. But yeah, the quantity sold is up 200%. And it's really just getting in here and making sure everything works good. I cannot complain about how my weeks are going now. And part of it is slow to take off. It's still in the process, but it's following a plan rather than just having a store.
Yeah.
Even a bad plan is better than having no plan. And for the longest time doing eBay, number one, it was a hobby. It was a way to make extra money. It had no format to it, had no plan to it, had no action. And we've been doing the picker pass. I'm not going to get into the plans that Ben's and I are following. It's two different ones. You want to know how those are panning out. You want to watch our pick or pass episodes. But I'm still nowhere near getting to it because things are starting to really move. And I'm going to tell you, if you're following the plan that I have, the one thing I would add to it is get your inventory sorted out and straight before you do it. Because Ben's was making fun of me, I think 2 weeks ago. Is like, oh, I can't get up in number because I'm selling so many. That's true. It is work to do it, and so I've still got to get my stuff, my pictures taken this evening, and all my listings done for the next day. And I've got ones I've got to replace. So it's crazy trying to hit that number, and I'm just stretching for 10 a day right now. The plan I'm on is going to call for 20.
Yeah.
Now, here's the kicker. I want you to understand my plan is starting to work. The plan I'm following is starting to work. I was not optimistic about it to start. I was to start with, and I wasn't. Now I'm more optimistic because I'm starting to see the power of it. But I'm still not making the kind of money Ben's is. We're going to keep up with this everything going, but we're going to go over to how Ben's week was because you just heard he dropped off 11 packages and he dropped off da da da. Now part of that's being a full time reseller,
I haven't been
even
full
though it
time
was
this week.
forced.
Yeah.
Even though it's forced, he hasn't been full time this week, but forced full time reseller, we'll call it that. But being a full time reseller and treating it like it's his job. Now how was your week, Ben? Let's talk about your performance metrics and where you were at and how many packages. Because I did 6, and I used to do 6 a month, so I'm doing 6 in a week now. Incredible.
So this week I sold less packages than I did last week.
Yeah,
So
because
I
you were
dropped
down.
down. I was at like over 50. This week I only had 36 quantities sold. Now, I do think the hurricane slowed me down a little bit, but I ended up with total sales of $1,344.89 for the week.
Woo.
I take out all my fees, and because I sold higher dollar items to get to that number, I end up take out all the fees and all the stuff that I bought and paid for, and I end up putting me $803.12 in my pocket. Nice.
See, that's awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, here's the thing. I understand if you're where Ben's is, that's not going to direct replace his
Yeah,
job
not at
yet.
all.
For me, that would direct replace my job. It would at least the base part of my job, and I could quit from there and build it up. But I'm not to that point yet. Like I said, I'm 158 for the week. Wow, 800 what? What did you say? 800.
$3.12 in my pocket.
Sweet. Now
That's the
listen,
best week I've
now
had as far as monetary to myself. I think it's last week it might have been a little higher total sales, but it was like 50% of it got eaten up. This week it's only about 36% of it.
what have you been doing about? We're still talking about your week. Have you been? I know you were raising your ad
I
listing to
dropped
ten
it. So
percent.
maybe that's part of why I made more money this week too. For a week I went with 10%. This week I dropped it to 6% and still had great sales. So I don't know that the 10% was helping. That's why I dropped it, because I thought some of the stuff might have sold without that.
I don't think it tells you that.
No.
Yeah, it does somewhere, but I don't remember where it's at. We'll try to find that for you, ladies and gentlemen, for next week. Because for all you guys out there, you need to know this kind of stuff. You want to keep up where you're at, and you want to keep improving. You want to see that green arrow on your performance metrics, unless you're exactly where you want to be, and then you can just have the. You just don't want to show anything. You know, and show. You definitely don't want red ever.
Yeah.
But so you shipped 36 packages, but made more money this week because you had adjusted your ad fee down to 6.
Yes.
I wonder if that's something we could do, ladies and gentlemen, where you can alternate weeks between 10 and say 5 and bounce it back and forth. And maybe the algorithms are not quite up to speed on that. I don't know. It'd be interesting for you to keep it for another week at 6. You said 6
Yep.
at 6% and see what happens.
But the one thing I do know, because of the storm, I'm only getting 60,000 impressions across 3,000 items. But I have a decent click through rate. It's a lot to take in and try to understand.
And we'll talk about some of the things of what we learned in our what we learned session because I do have something to add to that.
So I did the last 7 days for that. Quantity sold was 21. So 21 of the 36 were from promoted. So
Yeah,
it's
so
worth that 6%. It's worth 10%. If I'd have done 10%, I would have sold $2,000 this week. Who knows? But with the hurricane, I'm just happy. I actually finally went out Friday. When I went out, I was able to put the store vacation mode. So I still sold stuff when it was on vacation mode, like 3 things. And then Saturday morning when it came off, I took it off vacation mode again and then sold some more.
well, and that's the thing. When you were doing your vacation, we were testing all those theories on that. We knew you were still going to sell on vacation, but the biggest thing is you didn't know when you was going to be able to ship again.
Right.
And
That's why
so,
I put it on vacation until next Friday, just because I'd heard.
ladies and gentlemen, if you've got a big storm coming in and they're talking about loss of power, say you're in the regions where Ben's and I are,
Yeah.
put it on vacation mode. You'll still sell some. Now, I don't know what to tell some of the people who are going to be out of power for 30 days, but
And
I don't know.
you go back in and revise it. But the crazy thing is, when we lost the power, we lost our internet, and then our phones wouldn't work. I think a towers got knocked down because usually I have 5G at home, even not being on the Wi-Fi. I had nothing. I was SOS. I couldn't get a signal. I had to leave, drive about 5 to 10 miles away from my house, and then it would pick up, and I could do a few things, and I'd drive back home.
I think they're shutting down. I don't know. It's a kind
I,
of a theory, but
But
I
that's the
think
thing. As soon as the power came back, my internet came back, my phone went to I can go out in the back, turn off the Wi-Fi, and I have 5G. Strange that everything started working perfectly as soon as the power was back on. I had dinner out last night, sitting at a bar talking, and only one other person had power, and everybody else, their phones still weren't working at home. And the one person lives, I don't know, maybe 2 miles away from me. That doesn't make any sense.
I wonder if fiber, because you're on fiber and I'm
Mm-hmm.
on fiber. I wonder if fiber requires power. It might require power to run, and they might not have backup generators on it. So, be
Yeah.
something interesting to discover next time you're out of power. You know, that makes me mad because I've got my Wi-Fi on backup, so I could still use it. But if it don't work, then I'm going to be really upset.
Yeah,
My
you bought
suspicion.
those power backups because you're like, I'm good for 8 hours. Maybe you won't.
Yeah, maybe I won't be.
Yeah.
Maybe fiber takes power, and I might not be. Oh, that will suck. I'll be mad about that. I'll be switching back to Spectrum because I know it works with a power outage as long as you can power up the modem, unless the line gets broken.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Crazy week.
so pretty good sales, but yeah, crazy week.
Yeah, I
What are we
can't
to
complain.
now,
With
Aaron?
everything that was going on, I was expecting after Wednesday not to sell anything. And then I was pleasantly surprised on Thursday when I drove out and my phone got signal, and all of a sudden I was like, ching. I'm like, holy crap, what am I going to do? So I sent all those people a note, the same note I sent on Wednesday night. Hey, not sure I can ship it. Everybody was super cool, except for the guy drop shipping.
Because he's freaking out because he did another.
Yeah,
He's
and he's
promised
in
his customer
California,
something.
so
He didn't even have the item.
he can't tell the people, oh, the hurricane affected it, because he's acting like he had it, and he didn't. It was in
Hmm.
Florida. Be honest.
Hurricane affected my
Yeah,
warehouse.
it affected my warehouse on the
What a
East Coast.
lie.
because
Yeah.
I'm a big multi-billionaire. Just buying shit on eBay. All right.
Hey, maybe there is some. You never know. Anyway, so what's our next topic on here? I
All
think
right.
it's
So our
about
next
our
thing
buyer of the
is
week.
our favorite buyer of the week.
Let's do buyer of the week.
Okay.
Let's do
Buyer
buyers
of
of
the
the
week.
week. So what's your buyer of the week?
There was a lot of them that stood out because they were very nice about everything that was going on. But I'm going to take the guy. His name is Brick Panther, just because I like his name, Brick Panther. He bought thermal labels for me as well, but he was super cool about it. He said, "It's fine. We can wait on that. Take care of yourself. Hope everyone in your family is okay. Be safe," with a bunch of smiley faces. I got his stuff out on Friday. That guy was cool. I didn't really have any other interactions. I interacted with a bunch of people this week, and they were really nice. So everybody that bought something from me that was understanding because of what was going on, thank you.
And I think that's the thing is here's the thing, guys. You should always be upfront, be honest, communicate what's going on. You really should. If you're doing that, then you're not going to have as much trouble. Just going to say it.
Yeah, I had another person go in the store this week, and he made me offers on 5 watches and my vintage I Love Lucy ceramic shoes. And he offered me $5 a piece on all of them, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna take it because they have $6 worth of shipping. So really, and then I can put all of them in the box with the I Love Lucy salt and pepper shakers, and I put it all together and weighed it. It'd be 12 ounces total. So one shipping would pay for it, and then all the other watches would end up being $11 a piece. So I'm like, yeah. So I took it, but he didn't pay.
Oh, yeah. He's one of those jerks. And see, that's what I wonder. The guy that did that to me with the dollar on everything, and you were like, you should have taken it. I was like, I bet he wouldn't pay. But now, wait a minute. I thought if they made an offer and you took it, they had to pay.
I thought it would automatically make him pay, but this guy has not paid.
Mm. Yeah, I thought it would automatic charge. That's something we need to revisit and look up and try to learn about because eBay seems to be going back and forth and seems to be selective because I do get messages from time to time now, and I think this may be it where you get an offer and it'll pop up and say, if you accept this offer, that will be charged. I don't know if that's every offer or if that's.
I really think it matters on when they signed up. I mean, this guy's in Staten Island. I thought he was going to pay, but his total was like $26 because he offered me $6 for the 25 plus $6, so $31 was his total charge for the items, and the shipping was 31.43, and the shipping's going to be like $6-7. So I'm like, yeah, I'll take your $5 because when you make an offer, you're making the offer saying that you agree to the shipping. Now he hasn't
Yeah,
sent me. I was
and
expecting him to send me a note and say, "Hey, can we do combined shipping on this?" And I was going to tell him, "No, you sent me the offer when it stated what your shipping was. That's what the shipping is." That's the only reason I took the offer because I know I'd now make it on the shipping. So it
mm-hmm.
would have been like a $64 order, and then it would have been $10 a piece on the items. I'm into that.
And he did, but see, that's the thing is we got to figure this out. Why some can do it and some can't. I mean, because some of them they charge right away,
Yeah,
but not everybody's that way, and so it's a little crazy.
I really think it's the newer people that have not been around that long that they're making them put their credit card in. But actually, when I went to buy something the other day, it made me put my credit card in. So they're getting everybody hooked up. But this guy apparently is not hooked up that way. Oh, I'll probably have to relist them. It's worth a try.
But you have to wait to cancel the order too, though.
Yeah, I'm not worried about
That's
it.
the problem. I got into that. You have to wait. Now you don't have to wait as long if you have a store platform. Now, a lot of times people will say, "What's the differences between starter and personal?" Because they look like the same thing. But if you have a starter store, and I learned this because I started out personal, because you actually have, if you're in a personal, you actually have to go in and report it, and then it's so many days after reporting it. And but if you actually have a store platform that you're paying for, then you actually have to wait. I thought it was like 3 days,
You
something
get
like that.
4 days. They get 4 days to pay.
So, Yeah, we could go in and look it up, or you guys can look it up as well. It might be one of those things we write down and look up for you. You have a couple days, but it's a difference between, because the starter looks exactly like the personal. Why should I pay $4.95
It's the same.
to
Yeah.
eBay for the same amount of listings and the same percentage? Because it charges you the same percentage too. So but the difference is in stuff like returns. The difference is in stuff like, so all this stuff here, shipping policies, and so you get a lot more bang. You get a lot of bang for your $4.95. Right, I used to say start out personal and then go to the starter, and don't do it. Go straight to the starter. If you're going to do it, go straight to the starter. It's worth the $4.95 to do
Yeah,
it.
but it's
Yeah,
worth it for the back end. That was totally different for you when you first
right.
started. You were asking me how to do stuff. And I'm like, well, just go here, and you're like, that doesn't exist.
Yeah, I don't have that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's totally a whole lot easier. And then the thing about it is, if you start out your store with a personal and then you try to convert like I did, you're going to spend the next month getting everything straight. Just start out with a personal, or start out with a starter and set it up to begin with. But so you talked about your buyer of the week.
Who's yours?
My buyer of the week is, let's see, that was my buyer of the week last week. My buyer of the week this week would be APEMJ 1445. APEMJ 1445. I don't know how to say that. No, I think that might have been my buyer of the week last week. I'm trying to remember who my buyer of the week last week was. We don't do this as much as we
You
should.
should write these things down if you can't remember.
Yeah, I can't. My mind's too.
Yeah.
But they left me nice feedback. I was trying to go off of feedback. Feedback runs a little late for me, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just going to tell you, because sometimes you get buyers who, I don't know, I guess they rushed to use the product and then they come back and do your feedback later. So I'm just going to talk about, yeah, my favorite buyer of the week. I would say was that, if it's not the one from last week, then it's still my favorite buyer, because I just like that they put, I highly recommend this seller. Thank you. Some of the other feedback I've gotten since then: nice, came quick, excellent. Some buyers, they just, you be glad you got feedback, because they're like, great, with a thumbs up, you know, and that's awesome. Don't get me wrong. Always make sure you're getting as much feedback as you can, but it really helps a lot when you actually have comments on there. And that's why Ben's and I like to read the comments, because if you've got one that actually talks about the item and how well you did, like I was reading Ben's the other day, and he's got on where it's packaged better than I've ever received before in my life. And I'm like, wow, that's actually a really, and I'm being a little bit facetious there, but that's pretty much what they
I've
said.
heard that about my package before. Packaging. Sorry. Let me.
Family show, man, family show.
You got to self
Oh,
promote. You got to self
you guys are
promote.
gonna have you guys are gonna have to stop watching this on your phones while during family time, because
I
the
don't think they
comments.
would have caught that. Now you just made a big deal out of it. Pretended
Everybody,
like
every adult riding down the highway right now, listening to this through either iTunes or Spotify, just snickered, about ran off the road, and everybody on YouTube watching it while their boss is in the next room. They're watching it at work, just spit their coffee all over the screen. But anyway, you really want to get those comments like that. The way that I have started getting comments, because before this, I just got generic, stupid comments. No offense, but that's what I got. Still get those some, but I think, again, the communication and the way you present yourself really makes a difference. Like Ben's, I know he sends out the little label cards, thank yous
yeah.
with every package. I'm highly communicating with everyone. It ships this time. Here's where it's going. Okay, by now here it's still on its way. I'm checking it. That's how you get the better feedback. Plus, another trick: set your feedback on auto feedback. We talked about this last time, but go in and delete out all the generic ones and put better feedback. Put it in your own words, and be willing to change it like every 60 days or so. Because if you leave different feedback, they're going to do more than just usually click the button and leave you one word or the generic eBay stuff.
Where someone I had bought these Edelbrock signature valve covers. They were chrome,
Mm-hmm.
and he had sent feedback. He revised his feedback and put a picture of his motor with the chrome valve covers on it. That's pretty
Perfect.
cool.
That's awesome. That is awesome. And see, here's the thing: people understand this. People want to buy stuff from people they like.
Yeah.
So if you're likable, then it's going to be a lot easier for them to leave you good feedback. They're already excited about buying the product. You want to get the product to them as soon as possible because they're excited that they just made a purchase. You're excited when you buy something. You don't want them to get what's called buyer's remorse.
Yeah.
You want to get the product to them as soon as possible. You want to get it to them in a good manner so it's packaged well. And then you want to communicate with them the whole time and let them know you're serious about your store and you're serious about them. You won't, I can't tell you what's awesome is I've had to start sending coupons to multiple people. I've now sent out 3 coupons in the last 2 weeks because it's popping up repeat buyer. Not everyone, 2 or 3 are repeat buyers. And that's what you want. Honestly, if you can build a store, you can build a brand on eBay, your own brand on eBay, just out of repeat buyers if you got enough of them.
Yeah.
You really can. But
Easier
that's
for
the
you to
buyer of the
do
week.
because you're niching down to trying to get to like a certain thing. Me, I'm all
Well,
over the place.
I think you. No, I think you can do it too because you got a lot of items within the same genre,
Hmm.
and I think that allows you to do that as well. But don't be afraid to ask for the follow up. Don't be afraid to ask for the feedback. Don't be afraid to ask for them to join your little follower program. Don't be afraid to ask for it. But so what's next? I think it's what
I think
sell
we
of the
just
week.
added
Is
a
that
new
what? It is?
section, favorite feedback of the week.
Okay. Hey, that's great.
You know,
I'm ready to do my favorite sell of the week. I think it's awesome.
now favorite sale of the week is like second to the last thing we do. What are you doing, man?
Oh, okay. I,
We talked
I
about
don't
this
know,
when we
man.
started. You were like,
I
"Hey,
haven't learned.
we need to write this down and stay within the confines of what we write." You're
I
always like
know. I
your
say
ADD
that.
is a problem.
It really is. All right. So I
So we
haven't
skipped.
learned our order yet.
So your item. What item in my store do you want to know a little more about?
Oh, well, let me go
And
see
it's
that.
crazy. And if you guys have a podcast and you're out there listening, these things sell. I don't know why, but you know what? Thank you guys. It's just putting that positive thought out into the universe.
It really is crazy. eBay, stop. I'm a human. I hate this. I hate having to prove I'm a human 4 or 5 times. For some reason, I think it's because of my VPN,
I
ladies and
think so.
gentlemen. If you're running a VPN, eBay hates VPNs, which I don't know why. Let me see if I can find a cooler item right quick. Usually we try to look this up, ladies and gentlemen, beforehand, but didn't really have the time. Ooh. Now, let's talk about this item here. The CTA Tools 2221 Master Ford Timing Kit. If you've been listening, ladies and gentlemen, you know that I'm really into tools. I used to be a technician. Tell us about a little bit about this timing kit you got here, Benz.
If anybody knows anything about me, I don't know jack about cars, but I found it for a good price, so I'm selling it. So
That's a pretty good kit, and you got a pretty good price on that too. I'm not familiar 100% with the brand name on it, but
it's a cool one. I got that at a yard sale. I think the people it was a woman selling a bunch of stuff, and I got that for $10. But I had looked it up, and it looked like it was worth upwards of 200. I think I put 149.95 on it and shipping. I think it's like a $200 free shipping at a lot of places, and if I was shipping it to myself, it'd be $11. So I'm trying to get it more into tools because I think they're interesting. There's good money in them, and you can find them from place to place. That is new. I looked at it. She said he
yeah,
bought it
it
and
looks
never used
brand spanking.
it. He never
Yeah, I was
used
going
it.
to say.
So I just put it as new because it's new.
Yeah, and see that's the thing is if you've got one of these smaller Ford engines, now
Yeah.
not everybody talks about the 302 and the 351, yeah. But if you are working on if you're doing any type or you got one of the Ford Ranger or the older models or the vans, the cars that have these smaller engines, this is something you're going to need. And if you are a technician, this is a great, unless you're like a Kia tech at a Kia, you may not need this. But if you're a general tech at any or open home on your own shop, and a lot of techs, they work at home too. There's a hint, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of get to be friends with techs. Find somebody at your local community, at your Lions Club, your Ruritan Club, your Elks Lodge, your Masonic Lodge, your church, wherever. Find a tech there. A lot of times they will do work after hours in their own shop at home.
Hmm.
But if you're one of those techs, this is a great tool to have and a great price on it. Honestly, that's I don't work on those engines. I don't do that kind of thing anymore. If I was still doing it or moonlighting, I would definitely buy that kit. definitely, because that's a good price on it.
Yeah, and I'll
And it
take an
looks
offer.
it is brand new, and it looks like it's made. It doesn't look like it was made here recently. That doesn't look like
No, it looks like
aluminum
an older set.
components. Yeah, so it's going to last a while if you take care of it.
Hmm.
Really, that's not one of the new aluminum bull crap where you bend it.
No.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. All right. Yeah. I see. There was one other item that caught my eye. Got some pretty decent wire looms in here, logoed wire looms. I'm looking at your automotive stuff. Your automotive section has gotten huge.
Yeah, I got a lot of
Um,
automotive stuff. I've been trying to pick that stuff up when I can because I've been doing well with it. And you'd be
well, and
surprised how much
they're
stuff people buy and don't ever use. I even got like a tail light to a Acura Integra or something like that. I got for $3 because it was in someone's garage and it's worth like 150.
yeah, and that's the thing is you'd be shocked. You're right. You'd be shocked at how many people buy stuff and they'll go or they'll buy it and then they'll not need it.
Yeah, or buy like in that case, someone bought it, but then they traded the car before they used it. Yeah, so
Oh, here's a cool belt buckle. Tell us about the Bass Angler Sportsman Society. That's not a that is a got to be a pre-owned or
yeah, that's a
whatever
pre-owned.
belt buckle. That's not a Chinese special. That's a real belt buckle.
Yeah, I think it's
Looks
the
like it's made out of
25th
brass.
anniversary you got if you were a part of it. So it's definitely vintage. It's 1967 to 1992, I think. 25th anniversary, something like that. It's just one of those belt buckles I found in, I think that was in one of the lots that I bought.
Yeah,
Now,
that's
when
a
I look
cool
it
belt
up,
buckle.
sell similar, I think it's come down in value since I listed it because that's 3 years old. So I need to look at that one.
Yeah, and that brings up an interesting thing. That part of the store plan that I'm on, ladies and gentlemen, everyone is basically every day you're selling similar and adding. Whereas Ben's doesn't have to do that. He's not. His doesn't do that. So some of them are getting stuck.
Yeah, I have stuff
But
that's old that I need to go through and do that. So I realize I have a lot of my stuff is more over the 90-day point. I've been busy. Ow, cat. Merlot. See, this is what happens when you don't shut the door. Merlot shows up.
I just came to see you.
She just wants to
Came
hang
to
out.
see you.
She's all right.
Yeah.
She misses my old chair because this one's got a skinny top. The other one used to have a fat top. She could lay up there. Now she gets up there and realizes, oh, I can't do anything. So yeah, so I need to look at that. I need to start doing that sell similar. I haven't been doing that in a while. I did it a few items. I went through and realized I had been like 90 days on all my cards. I closed all the cards and resold all those. And then I sold like 10 cards. So I really think that
Mm-hmm.
sell similar does its trick. I think you need to do it in a smaller lot, like you're doing a few a day. I think if you just shut everything down and sell similar, it just ends up being not
Oh, it's a
effective.
nightmare. You want to do at least do some every day
Yeah.
because it keeps you up to date too on prices. Like, okay, so for instance, and I'm gonna give everyone listening and watching, for instance, here. Good example. Coats are a heavy seasonal item. You know that. Everybody, it makes sense to everybody listening. But you'll watch as coats will drop in price as it moves into when the warmer season.
Yeah.
And then now I'm noticing that the coats are going back up and they're trending back up. I wonder why. We're getting in here to October and November, going into the wintertime. So, you can say, I'm just not going to change my price because I want to sell them in the wintertime when they're the highest. Fine, that's cool. And you do what you want to do at your store. I tend to keep mine with the trend because if you're making money either way, yeah, you want to make the most, but you also don't want to keep it in
Hey,
your
man.
inventory for a year.
If you can sell it for $10 the last 6 months, that $10 that extra you're going to get, you're going to be able to flip that 2 or 3 times before then. So that $10 savings really turns out to be a loss because you sold it instead of selling for 25, you sold it for 15. Then that 15, you buy something and sell it for 30. And then at 30, it compounds the money. It depends on where you are. Right now, I'm trying not to buy anything. If I have stuff I'm sitting on, I'm sitting on it. But my
Yeah.
cat's just like hanging out.
So when we talked about two items of yours, what you got on me?
All right, so I was looking in your store and I saw your duck painting with the stamp.
Ah,
Yeah,
yeah.
1995
I mean,
96 federal duck stamp by James Huntman. Huntman. I thought it was
Yeah.
interesting. You're at 85.99, and the sell similars below it, the same one's $199.
Yeah, and that's the thing is I'm probably way under on that. I had that listed, and I go in every time, and I'm like, okay, because sometimes you go in, and it depends on how. And again, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you, I already know that I'm low on that one right now. It's getting ready to come back up, sell similar. So if you want to buy it right now for the $85, you need to. I'm just going to go ahead and tell you because as soon as it comes back up, I already know because I keep a watch on those. Is one of my niche items is artwork, especially the stamps. I've sold quite a few of them, and not stamps themselves, but the stamp paintings.
Yeah.
I've sold quite a few of them. That one there was bought with a set that I had bought with another artist who I had two of. Now I got one, but this one here, I don't know. It's one of those things. I don't remember what I paid for it. I really don't. I have to look it up. But I know that it has recently. There's been one that's recently sold for a whole lot more. I do think that the frame on the one that's sold is a little different. I don't know. You'd have to tell me because I'm not looking at it right now. I think the frame on it's a little more ornate,
Yeah,
and I
not
try
the
to
one I'm
judge on
looking
that
at. The one
stuff
I'm
too.
looking at, it is a different color. It's black, but it's just a plain black frame
Okay,
with
I know there was one
printing.
that sold for quite a bit more that had a more ornate frame, and I try to balance on that based on
And
that
maybe
for
that
you
person
guys.
priced herself at the more ornate frame because his frame is the same as yours, except for it's black with the same ribbing or whatever you call it around the edges.
Okay, yeah, they may have priced with a more ornate, and they may. Who knows? I would like to sell more artwork, but I think to sell more, you've got to have more. So I'm going to have to add pieces to my gallery to get it really going. I still sell one about every other month or so. I'll have one that'll sell. This is a really nice one. It's probably actual valued. When I was looking at these things, normally with the stamps, will go at auction on art auctions. They'll go upwards of $200 to $500 because they don't really do them anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what's happened, but this used to be a huge thing that the Postal Service would pick a theme and they would get artists to paint. You've got some great names in there like this Haltman. You've got a guy named Shepard, Kincaid. A lot of you guys will recognize that even if you don't know about art. He did several. So this used to be a thing. Post office has gotten away from it now. So these ones that are done, and they only do so many of
Mm-hmm.
them. And if you like the theme, if it's a theme like a lot of men like ducks, they like duck hunting, and so this is a great gift to hang in a more sophisticated man cave. I wonder if some of us as man caves are getting less sophisticated. It's interesting to see that our visit like rich homes, like the Biltmore House, and they had a cigar shop basically in there, a place where they could go smoke cigars. And you look at the decor in there versus a modern man cave, which is basically the same thing. And we've got neon lights hanging on the wall for Budweiser. It's a drastically different style, but same thing. But you still have men out there who are like, no, I would rather have a library themed man cave than, a pool hall.
Yeah.
And then you've got some people who they use these things in their dens. It's very versatile where you can hang it. It's great art, works great in offices. Just remember it's not a cheap piece. I've got a great price on it right now. It's probably actually retail value maybe two, three times that, maybe a little bit more. But unless the post office, and I do realize and did look at it, and it looks like these things, when the post office was doing a lot of them, they were losing their value, and maybe that's why the post office quit doing it because it was causing it to lose their value because they were doing a lot of them.
Yeah.
And now they've pretty much stopped. I don't think they've done one of these in 15 years. Quite a bit out there and or quite a bit of value on these pieces. But yeah, really beautiful piece. Great print and numbered too. So
Yeah. Okay. Another thing I have, you got that Supernatural, my favorite television show. Watch. That one's pretty cool.
pocket watch,
Yeah.
supernatural pocket watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't realize what that was, so I actually looked it up. I was like, "Oh, that's cool. That's Ben's favorite show,
Yeah.
Supernatural Pocket Watch." I got a great price on that too, by the
I
way.
know.
I'm about $3 under what the standard listing for it is.
Yeah. So that's good.
So
All right. So
mostly because I'm not going to, it said 15% free shipping. And I was like, yeah.
yeah.
But I don't think there's that many of those actually on eBay right now.
No, I was looking for that same one. There's a Supernatural like anti-possession one, but not like that one. So that's cool. All right. So the next thing on our list is What did you learn this week?
I think we've talked about that a lot, but we can talk about the hurricane a little bit more. We've talked about it in the past. We'll bring it up again. It has been confirmed that there is some stipulations because I got upset, and so I contacted eBay customer service. I was like, "What is going on here?" And with all this stuff, and we went back and forth, and turns out that yes, they do try to protect. We know this to be the truth. They do try to throttle down, and that's what we call it, is throttle down. They don't call that, but it's in a way to try to protect customers. And I'm like, but I'm not even affected by the hurricane. My post office is open, everything's going. I mean, because my sales literally, like, and my impressions like dropped through the bottom. And I'm like, this is unfair. And they were like, well, you're affected by the hurricane. I was like, no, I wasn't. I promise. I'm in High Point, Greensboro area, Triad, North Carolina. We were not affected. We did not lose power for the most part. And I don't know why you've got me knocked down. It's just like Ben's right now. Ben's is fine. His power's come back on. He should be able to ramp back up, but probably what he's going to see is for the next week, his impressions are still going to remain low
Yeah, I think
because they're
so.
going to lump him into that. But I did that and I let them know basically, oh, I filled out a survey and I got contacted by customer service. That's what it was because my survey was so terrible because I ripped them a new one on it. And that's what happened. And so they contacted me and I just let them know. I was like, but I wasn't affected. I don't know why you're doing this to me. And so I told him, I said, I can go on eBay right now and buy you a map for $2. Would you like me to do that? Send it to you. Tell me your address. I will go on eBay literally and buy you a map and send it to you. And I will circle in red what was affected by the hurricane, and you will see I was not.
And the
They
best part
didn't
was,
really.
after that conversation, a couple hours later, you sold something.
Yeah, yeah. After that conversation, it was crazy how then it was cha-ching, and then it was cha-ching, and then it was, and my week got really good. I'm hoping eBay will work on that, but that's eBay news. There has been some confirmation on that, and I get it. They do it to try to protect the sellers and the buyers. They don't want it to be in a situation. eBay doesn't want buyers with 95% or below.
Sellers.
You look at the top seller ratings, then they will tell you you've got to have, here's your percentages to be top sellers. The more top sellers they have, the more it attracts people to buy. It's more buyers' confidence. And so they do this, and I get it, to try to keep buyers' confidence high and sellers' reputations high. But if you're not affected, again, they need to do a better job of honing in on the areas that need to be toned down and areas that don't need to be.
Yeah, and so I'm concerned because I did have late shipments. I had 8 late shipments this time. I never have a late shipment. It was during a hurricane. I tried to contact eBay. Getting a hold of eBay is a pain. Um,
Unless they contact you, it is when I had that one bad feedback, it wasn't bad, it was positive, but then they left a bad comment.
yeah.
And when I had that, it took me 3 days to figure out how to actually get, and I ended up going through a chat. That was the best way. So,
All right.
yeah, I hope it doesn't affect you too, buddy.
Yeah, I know. I
What
don't know what that's going to do.
did you learn anything this week? I have a question for you. I was looking at the top performance metrics on there to be the top seller or whatever. And it was like, if we evaluated you today, it's always under your performance stuff. Summary, ladies and gentlemen, if you go look at that,
Yes.
it will say somewhere in here, seller level top rated if we evaluated you today. And you click on that, and you want to be, everything I've got's above standard, top rated, yada, great. But I would like to get that little top rated seller, and you go see how. And yes, I'm human. This is getting annoying, ladies and gentlemen. And I was wondering why have you looked to see why yours doesn't say that on it?
It doesn't say what.
Does yours say top rated seller?
My seller level is top rated. Yeah.
Yeah, but do you have the little like ribbon thing?
Where would the ribbon thing be?
I don't know. They show a little ribbon on there, and I was curious.
Oh,
So you can't have so many late shipments. You got to no more than two without seller resolution transactions, transaction defect rate no more than 0.5, late shipment no more than 5, upload tracking, at least 95% of transactions have been uploaded tracking. You have to have had an account for at least 90 days. You have at least 100 transactions. I went and looked at mine. I've only had 79 in the last 12 months.
Yeah, so if you look up one of my
Um,
things, it says top rated plus, top rated seller, fast shipping, free returns. Learn more.
okay.
Because I'm
So
doing
you
free
are rated.
returns on everything pretty much, unless it
So
were.
you're not only top rated, you're top rated plus.
That's because I have 1 day shipping. You have to
Yeah.
have 1 day or same day to get the rated plus. But you got to think of the reason I went to that is because I'm doing this full time. Plus, if you're top rated plus, you get a 10% return on all the fees you pay.
Yeah. And see, I was one I want to learn how to get to.
It's worth it to me because I know I can go out every day. When I was working, I still did 3 days handling. So I was top rated, but not top rated plus. And when I get a job again, it's not worth that extra 10% to have to do that every day and stress about it, unless that's what you're doing, in my opinion.
Anything you learn? 'Cause I know we're getting over the time here,
Yeah, we
everybody.
still got a
So
lot
we
of stuff
want
to go yet. Anything I've learned, yeah, I learned during a hurricane, before it hits you, put everything on vacation mode to extend your shipping time. So that way you don't have to stress about it. Because honestly, I was so stressed, I felt like I was going to throw up at some point. And I was like, oh, what am I going to do? I don't want to mess up my account. I don't want to have spent 3 years building the account and then one thing. Although with the hurricane, they should give me a leeway and allow me, errors and at times shouldn't count against me. Well, we'll see.
I did tell him, ladies and gentlemen, I did tell him, I said, you should go put it on vacation mode. Wow, it ain't going to be nothing here. They're saying it ain't going to be nothing. We ain't going to get hit. And then all of a sudden, boom, he loses power. And I'm like,
I
oh,
know
dang,
I
that
was wrong.
sucks.
It doesn't happen often, but it did.
So, mental note there, you should put it on vacation mode anyway for as long as possible if a
Yeah,
storm's coming in. And then if it does nothing happens, go back and change it once it's gone.
exactly. Once I got
But
power,
go ahead.
I got turned it back. So
All right. So what's our next
the next thing
category?
is sale of the week. What was your best sale of the week? You were talking about that a little while ago. You want to talk about it?
My best sale of the week was a Hamden pocket watch I bought in a lot. It was a Molly Stark 1910 Hamden pocket watch. I'm telling you what, ladies and gentlemen, you live and learn on these things. I looked this thing up and I got it in a lot. And yes, it was absolutely beat to crap. Like it didn't work. It was missing a crystal. It was missing one of the hands. The case didn't want to snap shut. It was just terrible. And it was even turning green around the little bezel. It had some green there but the rest of it was still shiny. It still looked pretty good. And I'm like, you know what? I should lot this and sell it out. And that's what I had planned to do. And I was like, no, what? I need items. I'm going to take a picture. I'm going to throw it out there. And I looked, and the great ones were going for 200, $250. Ones in fair condition and okay condition were going for anywhere from 75 to 150. And I was like, you know what? This one's in piss poor condition. I'm going to put it out there. I'm going to put it for $30. As soon as it hit, it was sold within 30 minutes. Sold in 30 minutes from hitting. That's how you know your price is too low.
Exactly.
But it's still my sell of the week because it just goes to show you that there are things you're like, oh, that's a piece of crap. That thing needs to be thrown in a lot over here to the side, and hopefully it'll go, and I'll make my money, just get my money back that I've spent on it. And yet, you need to be careful. You need to look at everything before you just toss it to the side because it's shocking how what you look at and go, this is a piece of crap. This thing's in such bad condition. And yet you will put it out there and you will underprice it because of your mentality about it. I probably could have sold it for 50 or $60 in 2 or 3 days and made $20, $30 more than I made. And that's sad, but I'm also happy about it. It's my sale of the week because I'm like, it's a lesson. This piece of junk thing that looks like a piece of junk to me, I was like, it'll never sell. Sold like that. So, sell of the week for me was that because I was shocked that it even sold because I was like, well, I'll throw it out there at $30 and we'll see. So, that's my sell of the week. Not the one I made the most money on, but definitely my sell of the week. Enjoyed selling it more than the ones I even made more money on because there I was using my mind of my own, what's it called? They call it when you got preconditions.
Ingenuity.
So I wouldn't call it ingenuity. Use them all freaking
All right.
preconceived notion,
All right. My sale
prejudging.
of the week was for an AI phone PS24SO UL 24-volt DC 2 amp power supply. Remember on Pick and Pass, I went to that sale and I ended up paying some cords and a bunch of stuff. This was one of the things that they had that I
Yeah.
picked up for $2, and it's a power supply. I didn't know what it was, but I got three of them, and I listed one, and I don't know what the other two. Couldn't find them in the garage because I wanted to relist it, but I listed one for $74.95 and sold without an offer or anything. Somebody bought it, so $2 into $75 plus shipping.
Wow. Wow. That's a hit.
That is now
That's
that
out of the
makes up for
park.
the money I spent on the crap that'll probably never sell.
That's curious. Y'all did go. If you want to understand that, you need to go watch the Pick or Pass. Of course, most of you watching this probably already have exactly what he's talking about. Buying old, outdated cables. That's awesome.
New
Go
in
check it out.
package, man. If it's new in package, I buy it. That one there, I bought for $2. Didn't know anything about it. It's worth $75. I listed the
Now you just need
one,
to
and
find the
I know
other
I bought
two.
three of them, and then I couldn't find the other two. I'm like, what did I do with that? So
You need to find the other two.
I will.
Yeah.
I'll put them out there. So that was my sale of the week. And we got
All right.
eBay news, but we're already over an hour. But when we cut it down, it'll be less. So
Let's go for eBay news.
we'll do a quick pass on that. Okay, so one of the things I read this week is be aware of an ongoing eBay pricing glitch. So somebody was preparing to make an offer to somebody on eBay on an item, and then they discovered that eBay had automatically lowered the price of the listing to what he was going to offer because he had sent it before in an offer. But the glitch has been previously reported apparently. Similar issue was noted in March and June of this year, as well as there's a Reddit thread out there from 2022 and 2019 of the same problem that eBay is repricing your items to what you sent offers on. It's a glitch that's known that comes up every once in a while and then goes away. They say they fix it, but be aware that when you send an offer, there's a possibility that it will change your price to that offer. I've never seen that happen,
Mm,
but it's something that came up for this person, and it's a known issue.
that is interesting, we'll talk next time about offers, and we'll write that down to try to remember to talk about that.
Yeah, because I got an issue with
But
that too. But
yeah, I got some issues with that as well. So we'll discuss that next time. You definitely want to tune in the next show. But wow, eBay automatically repricing your item for you. Isn't that awesome? Thanks,
yeah,
eBay. Because what I'm sending an offer for is to try to entice them to go ahead and buy. I don't want to just, you know, plus, how stupid is that? I've watched things before and I get an offer and I go look at it. I'll go back and look and go, is this a good offer or not?
yeah,
Because if you get a 5% offer, I'm sorry. That to me, I don't ever send anybody a 5% offer unless I'm just like, no, I'm already really priced where I should be
yeah,
for this item. But I know if I send you a 5% offer, it's pretty much just to make the thing go away because my OCD. But I'll go look at it, and if I was to get an offer and they're like, you got an offer, and then I go click on the item and it's the same price, I'd be like, that's not an offer. That's
yeah. The person didn't send the offer because he realized this
crazy.
week USPS published its 2024 holiday shipping deadlines. It's 11 weeks or so away from the Christmas holiday, so they put out their deadlines for their packages to be delivered by December 25th, Christmas Day. So another thing they talked about is the online shopping trends are shifting earlier. One of the key things is look at Amazon did an extra big Prime Day deal starting October 8th. So USPS encourage prompt shipping, stating the earlier you send it, the better.
No joke.
Yeah.
I'll ship it just the earlier you buy it.
Yes. So this year USPS is offering slightly extended deadlines. Ground Advantage first class mail should be in the mail by December 18th, compared to last year
Good to
was
know.
December 16th. So it's 2 days longer this year.
That's what a lot of our stuff ships is USPS Grand
Yeah.
Advantage, at least all
Yeah.
of
So if
mine.
you don't get it in the mail
So
by the 18th, then it's not going to get there by the 25th. Priority mail needs to be in there by the 19th, which is the 18th last year. And Priority Express December 21st, which is a day longer than last year, which was December 20th. A little shorter deadlines if you have shipments going to Alaska, Hawaii, and international. destinations. Look them up because they don't follow this same plan. This plan is just for contiguous U.S. based. So thought that was interesting. That came out this week. I had a big thing I was going to talk about, but we'll just go quickly. The eBay issued its 50 $10,000 grants this year. So one thing that was interesting, 18,000 people applied, which is way up. It's an increase of 162% year over year. So 50 winners will get $10,000 training and mentorship and a $500 technology spend for eBay refurbished technology as well. So that's cool. If you want to go, you got it on YouTube. You can look it up. You can watch the video. In the video, it shows the winners and company leaders discussing the initiative.
Sweet. Cool.
And the other thing I found
All right.
interesting this week, real quick, is holiday return windows. Walmart said theirs is going to be anything you buy from October 1st through December 31st, you don't have to return it until January 31st. So they went a month longer than normal instead of November.
That's interesting, and I'll add this. If you buy from, see, I think that's awesome. I don't really care for Walmart, but I think that's awesome. Walmart's doing that. There's
Yep.
a lot of retailers that don't get hemmed up on Best Buy. Best Buy does not do that. Best Buy, you have 10 days to return it, or they charge you a restocking fee. They do not care. I can't stand Best Buy. I'll never buy another thing from them because I got a Christmas gift, opened it up, it was broken, tried to take it back, and I was like, it was broken in the box. They were like, but it's past the 10 days, so you have to pay us a restocking fee. I'm like, no.
It's broken.
Because I'm like, I got this for Christmas. I've got the receipt. I don't understand. So I don't buy from Best Buy anymore at all. I'd rather order straight from on a rowboat from China than buy anything from Best Buy.
And Amazon said the same thing. They announced theirs. Theirs is November 1st through December 31st. So anything
And they give you till January 31st.
They give you till January 31st.
See, and I think that's awesome.
Yeah, that's the way it should.
And maybe we should do something like that on eBay. Of course, we accept returns, so it doesn't really matter when you buy it. We'll take it back.
But we only give you 30 days.
That's true. But we should extend that.
I think if somebody comes to you and says, hey, I bought this for a present, I'd like to return it, it's on a case-by-case basis. Depends on whether there's something that you bought and used for the holiday, and then they want to give it back to you. Yeah. All right. I had one more article, but it's long. So we're just going to skip that, and we'll save that for next week.
We'll just save that for next week. Yeah,
exactly.
Perfect.
Again, thank you guys
for what a great show. Yeah, thank you. Make sure you hit the notification bell, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. We appreciate each and every one of you. Again, we're on episode 83. We didn't talk about that. We're on episode 83. So, Benj, you've got literally like 5 more episodes before you got to have somebody speaker lined up for us. Because he's all connected in this reselling world. I'm not. I'm only connected
I know
to him.
A few people.
So he knows a few people. He's got a guy.
I got a guy.
He knows a guy.
I know a guy and knows a lot of guys.
So we're gonna try to keep with our tradition, having a. If we keep doing this on the 9, though, everybody's just gonna watch our 9 episodes and not watch anything.
We might mix it up and do it on the 7. Who knows?
But we definitely want to try to have a guest speaker. But we hope we were helpful with you on this episode here, 83. Keep on coming. Send questions. Again, we'd love to have somebody brand new in the business come on and just talk about their brand new experience and what they're doing, as well as we like to have veterans on because we like to hit every aspect of it. And we like to show a contrast right now, especially with the way Ben's is transitioning between jobs. So he's a forced full-time reseller and doing well, by the way. And me,
I should work harder when I'm working on the other stuff, and I could probably make a lot more money.
I'm just an aspiring quitter. I want to quit my job.
Yeah, you're different.
Yeah, I'm a lot different. But anyway, if things keep trending for me, I might be able to quit sooner than because I'm looking towards eBay retirement next year.
There you go.
That's when we'll start calling it eBay retirement. But
you need to get yourself 3,000 things out there, man. That's what you need.
And see, I don't know now.
Go
watch our Picker Path.
No, yours is working too, and it's on way.
Our different plans.
You know what? Sell-through rate is what you need to look at, right? So I know we're not talking about it, but my sell-through rate, I don't look at sell-through rate as much. I look at value because I don't mind holding on to it. Although my wife would differ on that, holding on to too much shit too long. So maybe I need to figure out that and just get down to 600 items.
Definitely would.
All right. Hey, thank you all for watching. Have a great week. We'll see you next week.